Test. Good afternoon. Hope you're all well. Doing better than Ream anyway. That's a lesson learnt about these lower tiers. But again, everything's pointing to a 2-2. So I showed you earlier on exiting when things aren't going your way, even for a very strong favourite like this. Could have got out with a £3 profit. But everything's pointing to Ream. I don't know what's gone on with Grenoble, but this is the joys of playing these lower tiers. Look at the last 5 matches, failed to score that second or even third goal. So 15 minutes to go. We remain hopeful. Just going to get off to the live. Got the international break coming up now, so it's going to be a bit quiet for the upcoming couple of weeks, particularly the Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays until we start seeing the actual international matches themselves, which normally start on a Thursday, I think. So it looks like everything's working okay. Well done, Michael. Well done. So that's worth remembering, isn't it? Particularly in these lower tiers, because that's when things go all pear-shaped or le pear-shaped. I would suggest these stats here will be pointing to Ream dominating the match. Expected goals 1, well, they've got that. And they had the shots inside the box, 10. Werder Bremen already got a goal. Got to put my headphones on so I can... and I'm listening to myself as well, so I'll just get rid of that. Possible late goal or 2 at Vålerenga, says Mark. So let's have a quick look there for you. I don't know if there we go. Vålerenga and Tromso. Well, I think you might be right there, Mark. Just based, really, if you look at Tromso's recent form, you remember earlier on the season, they started going off on these crazy winning runs, and they're back and doing it. But the thing to look at is whether they're scoring second half goals. They got 1 against Stroms, 1 against HamKam. That was with home advantage as well. They got 1 away at Bryn, second half, and they got 1 second half against KFUM. They are a solid side at the moment, Mark, quite obviously. Are you going to get involved now at 1.67, or are you going to hang on for a little bit longer, wait for some momentum? What you're looking for will be the brown momentum, because they're the side we want to be with, Tromso, in this current winning streak. So you're quite right. Be a good idea to keep an eye on this one. Well, Levante 0-2 against Oviedo. This is a battle of 2 of the newly promoted sides. Hope you're all okay on YouTube, making sure. Yeah, good stuff. So I'll just clear all this up. And I've got to get my Football 24 up. So a main look at odds on favourites today, I think, and trying to not get tempted in with the likes of Ream, but I would be tempted in 10 times out of 10, I'm afraid, with that kind of configuration. It's just ticking every box. Momentum as well. So just going to League One, League Two, and this kind of league, you're opening yourself up to all sorts of bother. Football 24, got to remember to get that up and make sure I've got, these are my odds on favourites. So the primary focus on these today. Saw that Wickham, that's what alerted me. Then to do a little bit of research, they won the last 2 home matches by scoring 2 goals. So what a pity we didn't get 3-2. That would have really livened up events. Bayer Leverkusen, a bit like Werder Bremen, you're going to be expecting goals before half time for them. Let's just do a quick sweep of this, pick up leagues of interest. We get our dings then. Jupiler League. So work our way down. Cambodia, Croatian HNL1 League. Cypriot League I've liked recently. Some familiar names from the Champions League. Paphos. So you can get a good play if you stick to the Champions League sides from Cyprus. Championship, League One and League Two. We don't need anything else today. FA Trophy, probably not going to be able to follow it today. Under 21 20 World Cup is worth watching. It's a goal fest second half, so I've noticed. It's very enthusiastically played, of course, those youngsters. Greek Super League, get a look in. Eredivisie, Eredivisie, where's that? Or was it all Friday yesterday? Just the Eredivisie today. No Ireland. No Italian Serie A, Serie B. Moving our way down. Norwegian Elite Serie A. Norwegian First Division. And I've got to get the neutral Fairbot up today. Let's try some. When we get a trade, try to get a neutral version. Well, I have to say bye-bye to that. Lord knows what's going on there. I take the hit because when you see a configuration like that, ordinarily it brings the money home. So we can have one aberration, hopefully. We stick to the elites today, and they've got the problem of the Champions League and pre-international break as well. So some of the, I wonder if the managers will be taking off some of the international players if they've got a comfortable lead, that kind of a thing. But it's cramped post-Champions League fatigue, Europa League as well. But we've got an Aston Villa now starting to score 2+ goals. So maybe Unai Emery has unlocked that forward line at last. So there we are. This is the matches of interest. So I'll just get rid of a few of these. And I think we can get rid of this. Again, it's an absolute mystery. And this is why I was mentioning a possible neutral angle. If you're expecting goals and expecting a win, why not play over 2.5 goals? Or, as I think Michael suggested, over 3.5 goals. So let me just get that secondary Fairbot up. And Leipzig have the lead against Borussia Dortmund. It is a kind of a derby-style match, this. Borussia Dortmund will be heavily affected by the Champions League and will have the vast majority of their team being internationals. Right, I've got all my passwords are now in a notepad, so I've just got to find that. So let me get in here. And we're going to be looking at how to neutrally approach our trades when we fancy a team to equalize. So the first port of call here, stick on simulation mode, and then we can get up and going. There's the opening goal for RB Leipzig. Parma Lecce is 0-1. So Parma Lecce 1.91 home favourite are a goal down. I hope you're not hearing the background noises. I should have the system element turned off, but if you are, my apologies. I don't know if it's too loud for you. Got all the dings and the bells and the whistles coming in. So just got to keep tabs on those. So don't forget that Tromso. The longer you delay, of course, Mark, the lower the odds to lay. You could even go for a 0-1 if you fancied Tromso to continue that winning streak with 9 minutes to go. Have a look as well. If you really want to home in on an entry point, do they have any good scoring angle from their goal times table in the soccerstats.com? Let's just wait for this to come up. There's a Vålerenga Tromso match. Just going to go through all of these. And down we go to show all stats and matches for both teams. And then a quick look at the bottom for both teams as well, because it could be that Vålerenga are late conceders. They are on a bit of a poor run. So we're going to head all the way down here. Home for the home side, away for the away side. Now, you see them scoring, we're scoring and conceding 11 in the last 15 minutes and 9 in the last 15 minutes. So there's plenty of late action. So this is the time now when we get the match up and looking for a potential late lay of that draw. Plenty of late goal action here. It's in a liquid market as well, so do not take what's on offer there. £14,000 matched. But you can see late goal action, last 15 minutes. Goals coming in. Lazio have the lead against Torino. Missed that Torino lead. They normally try to go for that 0-1 win. So that really was a trade. Sorry I didn't get on to that one. It's done and dusted now, which is a real pity. So working our way down, I think it's done and dusted for Oviedo. It's one of those matches, this. You would lay the late draw, and we can say bye-bye to this. 4 shots, 4 goals. Well, if they're that efficient for the rest of the season, Grenoble, then good for them. Vålerenga and Tromsø, as you know, just wait for this momentum to start rising. 0.86 and 0.6, about 1.4 together. Either side, both been producing decent shots. Have we missed it? I've got a suspended market. Aarhus. Okay, I played that one. And I'm on Cluj as well. I'm going to all these ridiculous leagues. So got that one. That's nearly a full profit, but I won't cash out yet until this tightens up. You can see there. This is the problem playing a 64 quid match. So I've got no wiggle room here. I've got a £23 loss here. 33. It's about a 17 quid profit as is. So I'll give that some breathing space. University Cluj, another going down to Romania. I did warn you about this on Telegram. If you're heading down with me, be prepared to lose. I topped up again. I backed University Cluj for another 10 quid at 5.5. Now, this is another problem going to these lower tiers. I can't get anything out of this unless I calculate, because University Cluj +1 will be the same as laying unpronounceable name in the match odds market. So again, that's illiquid as well. Got plenty of time, I think, for Cluj to do something for me. But in the meantime, it's a goal for Ream. Unbelievable, Jeff. They could have done that at 0-2 rather than 2-4. Oh, these lower tiers. 85th minute, Tromsø. Nothing much doing in Germany, but don't forget Bayer Leverkusen's record of goals before half-time. It's a very good one. 20 minutes is normally the starting point. Yeah. Oh, the Cluj goal disallowed. What a pity. Knowing my luck, that would be the Ream goal disallowed. So Aarhus Fremad, you can see the reasoning why I got involved with this one. They're on my odds-on favourite list, and they're performing like odds-on favourites. A bit like Ream, 1.55 expected goals, 4 shots on 13 off, 65 attacks to 24. The reason I didn't pass this on to you was because of the catastrophe that was occurring at Ream, the bar stewards. But they are there, you see. That's a great configuration, and 9 times out of 10, it brings in the goal. Yeah, the Cluj goal is back on, so good. 2-1, I hope. We'll have to wait and see. Work our way down. These are the ones which have caught my eye at the moment. I can get rid of Lazio now, but 0.95 Torino. I don't know if they'll get a second. They're a very defensively led side. Mjällby, 1.73 favourites leading, so I can take that off the watch list. Ostas, 2.2. I can take that off the watch list as well. Parma and Lecce has some potential, 1.91. Now, I don't know if I've got rid of all my XGs today in my downloads. Parma and Lecce, there we go. So we can have a quick look at the expected goals. And this is taken off the internet, so it's as accurate as a free version can be. I've not got an API linked into Understat or anything like that, but this gives you an idea, doesn't it? 1.06 expected goals, 1.02. So are they really going to concede a second goal, Parma, based on that? 0.78 goals scored a game. Are they really going to score a second goal, Lecce, based on that? So you see where I use expected goals. We are traders after all, aren't we? We're expecting, we're anticipating goals. And that will help, won't it? Because season long, so far, Lecce are not conjuring up enough chances to get a second goal in the game. There's that goal, Vålerenga and Tromsø. Very good call from Mark. I hope you played. And guess what? This is exactly what I'm talking about, neutral. We were all expecting Tromsø to go and get it. 5 consecutive wins. But laying the draw, either team needs to score. And the fact that the fact it's come so late means the draw odds are going to rise because despite the underdog scoring the winner. So well done, Mark, on that call. I hope you filled your boots. Good stuff. And all it took was a quick look here just to sharpen up your confidence. This is the most goal scoring section of the second half for Vålerenga home. This is the most goal scoring section in Tromsø's second half sections. 7, 6, 9, 4, 6, a whopping 11. So do please use these goal times tables if you want to get yourself a decent quality entry point, which would have been the 75th minute. So I hope you filled your boots there, Mark. 89 minutes indeed. Good call. Well done. So let's work our way down. Monza Catanzaro. So we're just waiting Bayer Leverkusen to get to the 20th minute if you want to, and then I'll show you the possibilities from a neutral perspective. So we're on 17 minutes at the moment, not got going just yet there. St. Pauli could be a both teams to score match this. They have been very competitive, St. Pauli. And Dortmund, you'll be looking for an equaliser from them if all things are equal. But it is a derby-style match. It's post-Champions League for Dortmund as well. And both teams will be chock full of internationals for this upcoming break. So we'll work our way down. SPL beginning. Dundee United, odds-on favourite at home. The SPL has been a good enough, readable enough league. So I'm quite happy to follow that in today. Anything else? Just catch my eye. Augsburg have the lead against Wolfsburg. It's a 2.45 the favourite match. I suppose we can look, because it's 2.45 the favourite, you're favouring in play stats and not the bookmakers' decisions there, because they haven't made a decision. 2-4. Let's just hope a little bit more Fergie time. 3-4. Get me a little bit excited for 4-4. But what an absolute palaver. And a good advertisement that, isn't it, for that idea of going over 3.5 goals. Very successful on this particular occasion. And these will be the matches coming on board, which just knocked this out of kilter. Work my way down. Vikavsliga, KTP odds on favourite today, so they're going to get a look in. It's a familiar league, split into the Championship group now and the Premiership group, the relegation group. Man United, well, it'd be a brave soul to be backing them at odds on today. Very good expected goals from Man United, but the finishing is not there. This is a London derby, and Nuno Espirito Santo, he can lock the back door. But I wonder if he's had enough time while his beloved Forest are getting embarrassed with Ange Postecoglou's marvellous management. We've got our odds on favourites list. today, so I won't be bringing them up to the watch list. I will be if the goals come in. I'll certainly be bringing them into the watch list in that case. So as you can see, the 3 o'clocks will be upon us very soon. Just want to get to Germany, have a look at the others. So we'll work our way down. So any odds on favourites today, I will be alerted to, and then we can investigate on a busy day like today. That's the best way to do it. If we can get ourselves quality trading propositions rather than Ream and Cluj in these lower tiers. Right, not much occurring. So let's have another look through here. Well, Copenhagen have the lead. Can Aarhus Framud get an equaliser? 1.50. It was the draw. That was the trading angle there. 2-0. Well, I'll have to say ta-ra to that one. And again, this is the problem with these lower tiers. I don't know whether it's the person who's recording the stats is doing it inaccurately. But time and time again, they're doing everything that you expect of an odds-on favourite, but they get done. Monza Catanzaro, 1.9. But looking at all of these draws for Catanzaro, you would be looking at laying the very, very late draw there, wouldn't you? They'll be sick of the sight of a draw. So that will certainly get the interest a little bit late on. A goal has come in. I'm not sure which match. There's a goal back for Cluj. They do score, you see. They do score, but in the wrong order. I'm just waiting on Parma. I think second half, we can have a quick look at Parma and Lecce. We've already looked at their expected goals, and we've got the conclusion that neither side should be troubling the judge as far as that second goal is concerned. There's that equaliser for Dortmund. I was umming and ahhing about that one myself. If it's not a post-Champions League pre-international break, I'll be all over that, I think, to get that home equaliser. But that's the problem. It just puts that doubt in your mind. So that's the equaliser there. And I've lost my train. We're going to Parma and Lecce if we can get there. I've also got this report here, so we can have a quick look at this. It'll be quicker. So this went for a Parma win. Parma, but be prepared to trade out if Lecce shows early defensive resilience. Well, yes. Parma are the bookmakers' favourites. New manager's aggressive style should be enough to overcome struggling Lecce. This does look a good trade. A low expected goals for, though. That's the problem. But under 2.5 goals, I would agree with that. Both teams to score, no. That's why you do the insurance. So it has the hallmarks of a good trade. But we're involved with a couple of newly promoted sides here. The last head-to-head, both teams did score, and that was very recent in Serie B. So I might be tempted in with this one, but you saw the last Oviedo against Levante. Was it Levante? Two newly promoted sides again, and we got the unexpected 0-2. But I would have to cover that 0-2, I think. So just looking for Pisa. Is it Pisa we're after? I think it is, isn't it? Parma and Lecce. Yes. 14th in the league, and you'll see immediately where they got that second goal, 72nd minute. First goal was a penalty, so struggling for that second goal in open play. And again, Lecce. Well, 2 goals, fair enough. But the poor expected goals, failing to score in these two, and scoring only a single goal in these. I like the both teams to score element here. Parma, though, decent against Atalanta, because Atalanta are looking quite good this season. And against Torino, helped with a penalty, but did get a second half goal. So I'll be looking on this with interest. Just got to wait to see them come alive. So we'll need to see that blue above the brown, and it's not there just yet. So we're getting just past the 20-minute mark for Bayer Leverkusen, but no shots on target. How would you look from a neutral perspective at trying to profit from that goal or the expectation of a goal? So we'll have a look in the half-time score market, or the first half goals 2.5, 1.03. That might interest me because this is going to be around evens. So possibilities would be that to bring everything together, lay the 0-0 and the half-time score market at under evens. That could be a potential play as well. If you want to keep your liability low, and don't forget this is a neutral angle, so it's very beneficial because if Union Berlin score, and that will just give us a foot in the door if we can get the usual pattern from Leverkusen of at least a goal before half-time. If this gets even lower, you could lay this lower as well. So that would be my potential neutral angle in there. Or if you're looking for over 2.5 goals, and it's has a good chance of coming in, but we've seen 2 recent matches, all goals have come second half for Leverkusen, one of them in the Bundesliga. That was a rarity against Mönchengladbach, wasn't it? But they tend towards goals before half-time. That's their usual pattern. So we'll see if they turn up. But again, post-Champions League, pre-international break. Dortmund missed out, alas. And the 3 o'clocks will be with us very soon. So just going to do another catch-up of anything that catches the eye. And I do like the odds-on favourites in Scotland. I've got the one caught already. And I would be looking potentially at St Johnstone if they were playing today in the Championship, but I don't think they are. Newly relegated and enjoying, generally speaking, enjoying the Championship. Sandefjord and Bryn, odds-on favourites. Lillestrøm are just doing a wonderful job. So they are going to get a very strong look in Norway. Our old pals Mjøndalen, total and utter dodge pots as well. Just stick them for old time's sake. Torino match looks done and dusted, but 9 shots from Torino. French Ligue 2, well, are they still playing? That would be nice. Just keep playing, please, until you get that 4th goal. SJK Ilves I've liked this season. They have been excellent. A Vizela red card against the Chavs. I think I've got rid of the Chavez match already in the Portuguese second tier. So we can keep an eye on that one independently in case they can take advantage of the red card. Because if you lay, as you saw earlier on, you lay the draw, and if the 11 players score the goal, you're up and running. So it's a really good odds move. FA Trophy, lack of liquidity. Some familiar names in the Championship. Southampton away from home, odds on, or near enough. Bristol City at home, odds on. We'll get a look in. Watford as well are odds on favourites. I'll only be looking at them if we get a goal coming into these matches. Mlada Boleslav, odds on at home to Teplice. And we've got, Leipzig. This is what I call derby-style matches, and this is why I don't tend to get involved. They are all over the place, aren't they? The in-play stats aren't revealing much. They are the full 90 minutes. If you want to play again, by all means do. If you missed the first one and if you fancy Dortmund today, but I wonder if we're getting proper in-play stat speed. The timing is right, but a single shot each must be just playing well today. So we've got a 1-2 now. No, goal disallowed. Okay. Does augur well for the potential to lay the draw second half, doesn't it? in that one. Augsburg and Wolfsburg, 2.45 the favourite. Augsburg are on a run of 5 consecutive defeats. Both teams have scored in the last few matches, but a couple of 1-0 defeats for Wolfsburg, but against decent opponents, Dortmund and Leipzig. They could, or they should, for me, get something out of this. So not seeing them turn up just yet. 0.01 expected goals as well is pretty poor. Salford against Grimsby. As the goals come in, I will go off to my odds on favourite list, and if it pops up here, then I will look with interest. As you can see, we've got 4 out of 4, 6 out of 6 odds on favourites recently in English League One, and delivering, at least not losing. Wycombe delivering, nearly getting that win for us. Doncaster did score first here, so no great interest as a trade. But Bolton odds on favourites. Cardiff been performing very well in League One, another newly relegated side dominating their league. Lincoln City and Port Vale. So I am interested in League One with those 4 matches. Odds on at home. Are they going to perform like odds on at home? And we've got a similar story in League Two with Barnet, Bromley, Cambridge United. So that does augur well for these lower tiers today. Championship, Bristol City, just a touch odds against, but I don't mind. I like what I saw from Saints recently. And the goals are coming in. None of great interest. So I'll just get rid of some of these lesser leagues that I don't need to know the scores in. For example, these two. So Chavez and Vizela, I might get that one up. And have we got a goal in the Leverkusen match? From a neutral's perspective, indeed we do. And it's come at a good enough time that it should provide the market with a hint that there might be 2 goals in this. So the first neutral success of the day. We weren't pinning our hopes on either of these 2 teams taking the lead. We didn't pick a team to take the lead, but we're just following that pattern. And this is also revealing to you the problems with this half-time as a trading perspective. 13 grand matched, and you're going to have to wait, be a little bit patient for the market to just summon up its tightness. So fingers crossed that can help us. And Mjøndalen have scored first. They are usually very, very gettable. Now, if we're playing neutral today, rather than risking Asani as odds on favourites getting the goal, then we'd be looking, wouldn't we, at over 2.5 goals if we're expecting Asani to win. Over 3.5 goals might provide the value, given we've already got a goal for the underdog. So this is the market settling itself down. Are you looking for that second goal? We were just looking for the odds move, weren't we? It's a nice 1-to-1 risk return, or even just above. So you'd be picking that one out to the net. Or it's up to you. You can leave that to run if you're quite happy taking the liability loss and thinking to yourself, I've got a nice bit of value here, didn't I, at 8.2. You could also do enough to just get rid of the liability. So let's do that. So if you've got Fairbot, click on the profit box here. So this would be 12 quid. Take that down to 30 quid for over 1.5 goals. There we go. Now you can rest easy. You've got a free bet. So neutral, doing a good job at the moment. Consvinger, Skye, Oxford United, Colchester. Anything from our odds on favourite list? Yes, we do. We've got Watford and Oxford United. And we've got Oxford United scoring first. So immediately heading off down here to investigate this one. Just got to remember the league. It's the Championship. So we're going to be playing Asani and Mjøndalen in a second from a neutral perspective. Okay, so we'll see what we can conjure up there. I would love to get neutral working because I don't have to rely, like Ream. I could predict goals would come. I was expecting Ream to be delivering them. So Watford and Oxford, it takes a bit of catching up for In-Play Guru to register the goal. But I've got the match up here and one to watch now. So Asane and Mjøndalen. How would we attack this one from a neutral's perspective? We are expecting Mjøndalen to capitulate. Over 2.5 goals, you're not getting any value at all, are you? Because 1 goal is in the bag already and it's come very, very early in the match. So from a neutral perspective, you could find value again in these first half equivalent markets, but we're lacking the liquidity. Don't forget, we're only looking to capture a goal to get us an odds move from these neutral plays. Over 3.5 goals would be the stretch here, providing you a little bit more value, wouldn't it? And was it Michael's idea? The other Michael's idea about backing over 3.5 goals and laying over 2.5 goals. So let's experiment. This is what this neutral is all about. So we'll be doing normal stake. And there we go. This is what we're faced with. It's starting to get a little bit more liquid now. No, it's not. It's gone again. Come back, wherever you are. 1.8s. We're fighting a losing battle, aren't we, with this market? There we go. Come to Pappy. 1.85, reasonable enough. So we can see by the end of this session whether we can find ourselves a play. So you'd be laying to the light to win the liability. So 1-1 would be covered. 0-1 would be covered. But once you get to 1-1, you're in no man's land. But you'll need another goal. Oh, this is incorrect again. Looking to win 40 quid, not use 40 pounds as liability. So get the mistakes done while it's neutral, or while it's simulation, and hopefully we'll be able to dig out a strategy. So laying over 2.5 goals and backing over 3.5 goals. Can we just leave it and see what happens? But we're going to be stuck, aren't we? So we will see. Maybe this won't work. The liability is too high. So we will find out. It's best to do it neutral. Advanced greening at some point. Oh, thanks very much, John. I will have a look into that, the advanced greening. Goals are coming in. So let's have a look. Bari and Padova, any odds on favourites? Manchester United have scored. Southampton have scored. No surprises, although Man United's expected goals has been excellent. They just need to get that finishing, and they got it today. Has it come via a penalty? Are they lucky so-and-sos? Are they automatically layable? Parma and Lecce. This has a weight for me on seeing whether Parma's half-time team talk will see them improve. These teams are not known for their goals, are they? So the Manchester United game, we've got the opening goal for Man U. Has it come from open play? Mbeumo? Mason Mount. Mbeumo, the assist. No strong opinion. Maybe an opinion if Sunderland do the scoring. They have had real trouble scoring goals away from home. So we'll be looking on that one with interest, but that's fine. 1.17 could arguably be laying Arsenal initially and hoping that this is going to be the battle of the defences with your man Nuno in charge. Just go through some of the watch list. 1.9 home favourite. Did they get the equaliser? Yes, they did. 37th minute. I think I missed that one. 1.29 expected goals. I shouldn't have missed that one. That should have been on my radar, to be honest with you. Certainly be one to lay the late draw, given that draw sequence, but it would have to be a very, very late draw, given that draw sequence. This would be your 1.09, 1.06. The manager will be sick to death of these, won't he? Djurgården and Degerfors, no strong opinion here, but an odds-on away favourite in Djurgården. We've got Degerfors starting off brightly. Parma, just waiting for the reaction from Parma, which will need me to see that blue line start moving above that brown line. We want to see a shift in momentum second half for Parma, who are on a decent run. Well, that says 2 consecutive wins, but it's a 2-1 win against Torino, which is excellent. Fair dues to them for that. They scored a second half goal there. Coppa Italia, well, we can dismiss that, probably fielding a weaker side. Now we've got the problem with the expected goals, 4. Failing to score against Cremonese, failing to score against Cagliari, albeit away from home. Did score against Atalanta and did keep Atalanta to 1 goal. So at home, both teams are scoring without Parma losing. So again, that's another tick in the box, just waiting for them to catch up with that kind of evidence to suggest we take Lecce on. Venezia and Frosinone, well, no trouble there for the odds-on favourite. So we can take them off the watch list. Avellino and Mantova, well, what caught my eye was the 4 consecutive defeats, both teams scoring for Mantova. With 0-0 at half-time. Again, while we've got this on board, have we got a goal? Yes, we do. So what has this done? So let's see. Asane and Mjondalen, what has this done to the market? And could we have played the half-time market, given it was so early? Red card for Vukova could open the door up for Hajduk Split. And as a neutral player, you'd potentially be looking at 2+ goals for Hajduk Split now. So if this gets to 0-0 for long enough, or for half time, you might want to look at over 2.5 goals second half. That will cover both teams as well. So we can get rid of that match. Just work our way through. So Chavez, second half is beginning. Keep an eye on them as well. So just having a look through here. Parma starting to rise ever so slowly, 43 momentum. A quick shot off target, 52nd minute. I might be tempted to play this one myself. Leicester City of the opener against Swansea. Cambridge United, I think, are odds-on favourite today against Crawley. Indeed they are, so no surprise there. Just want to check the Venezia match. Is it a surprise? Or are they, well, evens? So not a great surprise there. Any other odds-on favourites I've missed so far? No. Man United doing what they expect. Vukova Hajduk Split. So from a neutral perspective, that's suggesting at least 2 goals pre-match already. So we might want to have a look at, from a neutral perspective, how do we take this on with value? Going back to Asani and Mjondalen, I thought we had a goal come in because I thought the market got shaken up. But no, it remains as is. So it must be still 0-1. Parma and Lecce, I think I'm going to tempt myself in and have a look at this one. It is an elite league, so from that perspective, that's a positive. Laying over 1.5 goals because of the very poor expected goals for both teams and the very good defence for both teams. But the problem is they're both playing fellow strugglers. So that's why you've got that Oviedo Levante 0-2 before. They could arguably find this lot a lot easier than the opponents they've been playing recently. But I like Parma's both teams to score at home without losing. Let's hope we get a decent Parma +1. Not really. Not much of a gap, is there? But I can't go for the win, given the fact they don't score 2 goals that often. So let's just hope this goes as I hope it will go, and as the expected goals hopes it will go. Starting to see the momentum rise. So hopefully start seizing the shots on. And we can see that recent home pattern continue for Parma. 1-1 draw and a 2-1 win in Italian Serie A at home. Avellino Mantova, one for the very late plays. Bromley and Tranmere on the odds-on list. No Erzurum. The quickest way to get to seeing whether they're odds-on favourite is to just click on the score. Pre-match odds, 1.83 home favourite has scored first. So no interest in that match initially. So we're going to go back to the My Games facility here. Just get rid of a few of these. So no great surprises with Leicester scoring first away from home. Excuse me. I like that expected goals as well from Monza, just starting to motor a little, putting pressure on that draw sequence, but I want it a lot later. I could show you while we've got neutral on. Let's play around with some ideas I have when I expect a goal might come, but I do know that the league is known for its defence. So let's have a look. I'll investigate this one with you. Monza Catanzaro. So what my idea here, well, at the beginning of the half, which would have been about here, would have been to lay over 1.5 goals. If it was 0-1 at half time, no, it's 1-1. So lay over 2.5. Okay, well, let's experiment. We're doing it neutrally. So let's just see whether it's not doable in the real world. Okay, £22 liability. Are you willing to take the hit? My idea here is, if we're expecting this to be tight, we'll sit on this, and the longer we can sit on it at 1-1, the lower these draw odds become, and then we can have a full liability play at even lower odds than this. So we're banking on Monza and Catanzaro being tight. Now in future, this is where the expected goals might come in. We might not play if a player has got a expected goals of over 1. So maybe some filters like this, for example. If this was 0-0 at half time, very poor chance creation. Millwall have scored first against West Brom. Is that an odds-on favourite match? It hasn't registered. So I'm going to just keep my interest really in these. But we'll do a scan at half time of the in-play stats, see if there's any outstanding players, particularly any 0-0s at half time in English Championship League 1, League 2 that we can take on. I can see immediately that Derby are knocking on the door against the Saints. So that will get just a quick look in. So Bayer Leverkusen, you get that goal before half time. If you get it timed right, you can be in and out. And that was quite a late goal, particularly for an over 1.5 goal play. But if you wanted to get that odds on, you could have laid that 0-0 in the half-time score market. That covers absolutely everything apart from a 0-0. So do remember that in the future. The 0-0 against Mönchengladbach at half-time is an absolute rarity for them. Nope, that's not a play. Colchester. Werder Bremen and St. Pauli. I do like St. Pauli this season. I was going to mention they're both teams to score angle, but they failed to score against Stuttgart on the 19th of September. But they did score away against Holstein Kiel. Scored at home against Augsburg, failed to score. Well, they did score at home against Bayer Leverkusen. We'll wait and see. Do Werder Bremen? Well, they do. They do have a both teams to score pattern, ordinarily, but it's only showing at 40% so far this season. Cardiff have scored first. That's an odds-on favourite. Mariehamn have scored first against odds-on favourite KTP. So I'll be bringing up the KTP stats, which I've already got here. So it's registered the odds move. Whenever you see an odds-on favourite at these kind of odds, it means they've conceded a goal. So we're just going to wait and see it register at In-Play Guru, and then we could be potentially up and running. Now, neutral players. If we're looking for the potential for Derby to score, even though we fancy Southampton, Let's get this simulation mode up again and see if we can get any neutral half-time angle out of this one. Evens. Now that's the goal lines, and 1.17. So 21 minutes gone. I thought it was 1-1. It's obviously not 1-1, is it? Sorry. Oh no, we're looking at the potential for 1-1, aren't we? So do you fancy that? We don't have any insurance. How would we do insurance? Would we cover the 0-1 in the half-time score market? So we've got 40 quid on over 1.5 goals. We're looking for that Derby pressure to tell, but we still know that Southampton have been in decent form and could score a second goal. Can we cover that 0-1 for Saints? So we go to the half-time score market. Well, that is the problemo, isn't it? Absolutely nothing doing. I would love to cover that 0-1 by laying it if it had something in there, but nothing doing. So this is the problem with the first problem I see with neutral betting. A lack of an insurance option. This is becoming betting rather than trading for me. That's why I don't tend to play these. I don't tend to like this. You could cover the 0-2 by both teams to score. No, of course, John H's idea. But we've already got a goal in the bag. So, correct score 0-1. Well, that's for 90 minutes. We need something for the full, for the rest of the first half. Lay under would cover the 0-1, of course, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't. Lay under would back over. Ah, so this is the problem I face, finding a way to ensure that. But we will see whether it can become a value betting play. So we've got plenty of goals coming in odds-on favourite matches. I've got to get to the Mario Hamner match as well. I think that could be a play. So we'll work our way down. Hashtag split as well. I've got another neutral angle as well. Laying over 1.5 goals. Right at the off. So let's try that out for these underdog matches as well. Because it has come in quite a few matches, hasn't it? Laying over 1.5 goals, not going to cost you much. And if it stays 1-0 for a while, we know Sunderland don't score much away from home. We know Manchester United really lacking any confidence. So let's see if we can get a tune out of that. The great advantage with this is the liability is so low. You could lay over 1.5 goals and back over 2.5 goals. So as a neutral player, well, 1-1, 2-0 would be the killer results. But you need to make a profit with the next goal above that £5.20 liability for it to make it worth your while. But while we've got this neutral on, let's give it a go. So that's the wrong way around, is it? Yeah, I've backed over 2.5 goals for £40 liability. I've laid under 1.5 goals. So we will see what we will see there. 1-0 covered presently. Any other plays? Derby and Saints, we've had a neutral look at that one. Watford and Oxford, just keep an eye on the in-play stats. Have Watford done anything? Well, you look at the reaction from Watford. Again, is it flattering to deceive? 72 momentum. After going a goal down, you can see that blue above the brown. I like seeing that. Only the one shot on target. I like the expected goals 0.48 compared to 0.05, suggesting they're keeping a lid on Oxford, or at least they're making Oxford perhaps shoot from outside the box, that kind of a thing. So their shots are not really registering as decent chances. 6 shots off target. Starting to build up momentum. You can see nothing for the away side. 16, 16, 17, 22, all in a nice concertina effect. So let's take this as a neutral, and I might take this as an actual play myself. There's that Monza goal. I was going to do it far, far later, but it was coming, wasn't it? And 2 red cards for Vizela. If the Chavs can't score against this lot, then there's no hope. Could be a good angle in. So let me just get to the Watford matchup, because they've reacted very well, haven't they, to going a goal down. So from a neutral perspective, we're looking at goals, aren't we? And I'm going to try this continuously, laying over 1.5 goals. See if it takes a while for these teams to be broken down. Maybe this could be a good angle in. If the away side scores first, surely they're going to be trying to hold on to this and frustrate the home side. But you're going to expect, as you have seen with Watford, a reaction, and they're starting to build up those shots on and off target. So over 2.5 goals, a little bit better. We'll see whether this will be worth it monetarily. If you get stuck in no man's land, which will be 1-1, 0-2, of course, you're stuck between both markets, because that'll be a failing market, and that will not have been a profitable market just yet. But we will see whether this has legs, and the best way to see whether it has legs is from a neutral perspective. But I'm going in, I think, personally. I like that concertina effect from Watford. So I'm going to play. They're an odds-on favourite, and they're at home. Laying over 1.5 goals, not going to cost much. Does suggest goals as well, which I like to see. +1 for Watford. Is it going to be a little bit too skinny? Well, I'm going to have to default to it personally myself, given the league. But we will see which is best. Is the neutral territory best? Because that covers the 0-2 and any surprise goal. So let's see who comes out of it the best. Liability of only £6.80. So it's a 21 net profit. Match odds. If you think Watford are going to score soon, 3.5 is decent, and 2.38 to lay. That's also a positive sign as well. That's the kind of thing you would have seen in the rematch. Now that's how positive that is. And Leyton Orient have equalised against Cardiff. That could be a second half lay the draw. Let's just catch up with the goals coming in. Kilmarnock have scored first. Padova red card against Bari late on. That's Padova leading as well. That is also a decent angle. So that's League Serie B. So let me get Padova up. Italian Serie B. Leading, which means they're going to be odds on, or they're going to be short price, of course. Are they going to be vulnerable at the end of this match? So am I doing this the right way around? No, I'm going to go into the eyes. So again, we can look at a neutral avenue for this as well, rather than relying. Is this the one? Bari and Padova? It looked like Bari were absolutely bossing this match, doesn't it, as well? But 20 minutes to go. Bari are at home, I think. I just want to see their